legitimacy of relationships that matter. So when the community believes and trusts their police departments and their law enforcement agencies, they work cooperatively. And so she will speak directly to that situation. I want to thank all of our partners who are present, because truly they were all out there as a team. So from ATF to FBI to our own police department, our violent offender warrant squad, our own violent crimes team that is a specialty team that we call VCATE, of course, our partners in the state police, obviously our partners with the sheriff and the Orleans Sheriff's Office, and also our US Marshal is going to speak to you in a minute. I know HSI is present, and also Jefferson Parish has always been a great partner to us. So many, many thanks to you. We still have one more. We have Groves. And so Groves knows that we are going to capture you. You will be taken into custody, but you still have the option to peacefully turn yourself in. And we will make an appeal to you to do so. All of these captures have been able to be done peacefully, and that is also the end of the game. We don't want anyone hurt, not our own officers, and certainly not Mr. Groves. So the opportunity is there at any time to turn yourself in, and as I had spoken to the fact a couple of weeks ago, we do have the public defender is ready to meet you and to be with you from the very moment you choose to turn yourself in. And then Darlene, who's the face of Crimestoppers, will also have the opportunity to make her appeal and to give the Crimestoppers number. So with that, I am going to go ahead and turn this over to our U.S. Marshal for our area. This is going to be Chief Walter Ivy, and then after Chief Ivy, I know that Director Harper will call people to the podium, and then probably after him will be from our Colonel Robert Hodges. So Chief Ivy, please come to the podium and share with you about the event of today.
Good afternoon. I'm Walter Martin. I'm the Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal here in New Orleans, the Eastern District of Louisiana. Thank you all for coming. I want to start by thanking the men and women who have been working tirelessly to not only arrest Mr. Massey, but the previous fugitives, as well as those that have helped in Mr. Massey and the others evade the capture, and who have brought the others into custody. And I also want to thank the men and women who are working hard to find Mr. Groves. They will continue to work hard. As the chief said, we'd appreciate if Mr. Groves turns himself in, but at the same time, we're not going to stop. We're going to continue on, and just like we found Mr. Massey today, we will find Mr. Groves. We'll continue our efforts. We are thankful, too, that Mr. Massey came out and there was no problems today. He was arrested around 3:30 this afternoon here in New Orleans.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Colonel Hodges.
Good evening, everyone. Colonel Robert Hodges, Superintendent, Louisiana State Police. As everyone knows, today marks the 6th week of the escape, and it's through the partnership of the men and women and the leaders behind me and those who are not present but still working, as Chief Ivy stated, that we owe the credit to. This is truly has been from day one a joint operation. Although led by Louisiana State Police, our federal partners, the FBI, the ATF, Homeland Security investigations, the US Marshals, Secret Service, as well as our local partners, New Orleans Police Department, the Orleans Sheriff's Office, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, and our other state agencies, probation and parole, many of those, as well as our Department of Corrections. Everyone has really given an incredible amount of resources. It's through our resilience, and more importantly, our collaboration is why we were able to bring Mr. Massey into custody today. But let's not lose sight. One still remains Derrick Groves, and without the public's help, I appeal to everyone to please reach out, contact Crimestoppers, contact the ATF or the FBI. The collective reward remains at $50,000 for that fugitive, and it's imperative for the safety of this community and all of Louisiana that you reach out to us. Those who have continued to help and aid, which includes Antoine Massey, those will also be brought to justice. As I said previously, there are consequences for your actions. And when you help and aid and assist those to remain at large as a risk to the community, you will be charged accordingly. We look forward to the opportunity and the day when Mr. Groves is taken into custody. We would like it to be peacefully. We encourage him and anyone who knows him to reach out to any of the agencies that you see here. You can remain anonymous, but we need your help. And collectively, we will not rest, even if it takes another 6 days or another 6 weeks, until the last fugitive is in custody. Thank you.
Okay. HSI representative?
So I just want to, I guess, reiterate our commitment to our partners here, to public safety here, for the community in New Orleans. We're all very excited that Antoine Massey's in custody now, and we'll continue working alongside each of you to ensure that we bring Groves to custody too. Thank you.
Sheriff Hudson?
Okay, good afternoon. I am grateful to stand here with our law enforcement partners. Chief Kirkpatrick and I shared a moment this afternoon when she called me to talk about the press conference, just about the relief about having Antoine Massey into custody. 9 of 10 escapees, we've got 1 more to go. Like all of our law enforcement partners, I call on Derrick Groves to do the right thing and turn himself in. This is a major step forward in our efforts to restore order and accountability after this serious incident. I want to thank our community for reaching out to me personally to provide the information directly leading to Antoine Massey's capture. As soon as I received this information, I reached out to our detectives who are a liaison to the state police, the Attorney General, the NOPD, and the United States Marshals Task Force. They've set the actions in motion, which led to his capture. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of the folks up here and our partners up here. I have to give a special thanks to our deputies, of course, who coordinated and worked together to make this happen. But we're grateful to this community, as both Chief and the Colonel both said. Together, we made this happen, and I'm grateful. I also want our community to know that OPSO continues to harden and modernize the facility. That is well underway. We're installing new razor wire, tightening physical barriers, upgrading locking mechanisms. These all play an important role in the safety of our residents, staff, and the entire community. These are just the first steps in a very urgent plan, and we can't do it alone, and we call on all of our partners to help make sure that the investment needed here is done. So again, thank you all for your hard work and your partnership, and we look forward to getting Mr. Groves in custody.
Okay. We're going to take some questions. Channel 4, we'll start with you.
Hi, sorry, I'm back here and I'm short. So in the Hollygrove area, we were able to talk to the owner of the property who said it was an Airbnb. Do we know at this point, was he assisted in renting that Airbnb?
So let's have the Colonel speak to that.
So right now, obviously, we're still questioning Mr. Massey and others who were aiding and assisting him, and we don't have any comment regarding specific details, but it's pretty obvious over the last 6 weeks to remain a fugitive that long. He had assistance, he had help. Whether or not it was someone helped him with the Airbnb, we would have to think yes, but who and all those things will be determined later. And I would just encourage the public, you think you're helping your family members and your friends, but you're not. You're putting everyone else at risk for selfish reasons, and please, do not continue to do that with our remaining fugitive, Derrick Groves, and those who assisted Mr. Massey will have consequences for their actions.
Foxy.
Can y'all take us through the timeline of how long it was from when you got the tip to when he was recaptured?
Okay, so I think, Sheriff, if you can do the timeline and then Chief Dan here, because it occurred in our city, obviously, so please go ahead and explain how you got the tip.
I'm not going to get into the details of how I got it. Of course, we don't. This is we're grateful to our partners at Crimestoppers, where you can be anonymous in being able to come forward. But this all started between 10 and 11 this morning, culminating in his arrest at 3:30.
So as far as the special operations of the US Marshals, I happen to be at the Special Operations Division complex, and they're getting ready to move to that location. So I would say it took no more than an hour from them being activated to this capture.
Channel 6.
Was there also at large among other inmates captured that it still indicates that Groves was the leader of Hollygrove escape?
I would just say that Groves, along with the other 9, all had help. And we know that, and they continue to have help, and we'll just leave it at that. As far as who was the leader in the escape, I think they all 10 wanted to get out on their own, and they would do anything to get out, and whatever that led to, which is where we are today. But once again, every one of them had some type of assistance throughout the process, especially once they left the facility.
26.
I think the question out there was really one thing now is, where's Groves? Do we have a lead on his location now? Do we have at least a target on him? Or is it a shot in the dark at this point?
Look, just as we've said in previous conferences, we have many investigative tools and technology and a lot of leads that come in. All the tips that the public brings to us are investigated to the fullest. Sometimes we think we're incredibly close, and then we get to a residence, an apartment, a condominium, or a home, and they've just moved because they have help. We're still confident, just as we were about 2 or 3 weeks ago when we had a conference when we were at 8, and went from 5 to, and then 3 on, it was Memorial Day, if y'all recall, 1 in Baton Rouge and 2 in Texas. We still believe today that we will find these, and it's due to the resilience of law enforcement. It's a lot of good police work coupled with investigative tools and technology and the state-of-the-art equipment that we use to help us. And, we can't do it alone. We need the court's help. I failed to mention earlier, our Eastern District of Louisiana, our U.S. Attorney's Office is very helpful to us, as well as all our judicial districts in and around the state that provide us the assistance and grant and honor our requests for state or federal warrants, which helps further these cases. They take time, they take patience, and we just ask the public to continue to trust law enforcement, and then we will eventually locate Mr. Groves.
Okay. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate
Wait,
it.
I have one more question.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
Reese, I have a question. Did the tip come directly to the sheriff, or did it come through Crimestoppers? I'm sorry, can we just clarify that a little bit?
Yeah, it came directly to me.
Okay, so did they just call you up?
I'm not going to give any information about
Did they
that.
get the $50,000?
I'm sorry?
Did they get the $50,000 reward?
I'm not involved in.
Look, just so everybody understands, the reward remains $50,000. Of course, it's a combination through Crimestoppers, through ATF and FBI, and certainly if they reach out to one of those hotlines, those tip lines, they are eligible for that reward. But I don't want to go into the details. I don't think we just standing right there outside the residence and handing out a check. It remains anonymous, and Crimestoppers does an incredible job. Darlene and her team, and all those who take the calls round the clock. And it is available. I don't know, the process, but I'm certain in days to come, if they had called Crimestoppers, but I'm gonna leave it to Darlene. Come on.
Darlene, you can share the number with people because we are vetting every tip through Crimestoppers. And it's about how many now?
We've had over probably now 1,200 original tips and several thousand that are follow-ups.
Yeah.
And I can only speak to the fact that we did receive a tip today, which I understood led to the arrest of Mr. Massey. So we'll be working with our partners, the US Marshals, and on the Crimestoppers portion. And if that is the qualifying tip, again, our tips are anonymous, so we don't know who they might have spoke to or where they came from. It is an anonymous tip, and we don't ask those questions. As far as the FBI's reward process, we will certainly point them to that direction so that they can then work through that process for the additional $20,000. And it's the number, it's 822-1111, or go online to crimestoppersgno.org. And yes, we encourage anyone with information on Mr. Groves. Y'all have been calling. We're getting tips daily on the 2 inmates. Continue. And thank you to law enforcement. Incredible work.
$50,000 is life-changing. For a lot of people, it'd be life-changing for me. So let's make sure that people understand that. You have information, it leads to an arrest like today. That's $50,000 minimum that we've already committed to, okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit more to those Instagram posts that Massey allegedly made? Was that him making the post? Was that someone else? Will those lead to any arrests?
Go ahead and speak to it. It's still under investigation.
Look, we have a lot of posts, a lot of social media, as you all know, and some things are dated. everything that we see online, our fusion center, our law enforcement partners, it's vetted, it's collaborated, but keep in mind, by the time you see it, someone else has already seen it. You don't know the exact time and date. You don't, but we do. And so just like when they move from home to home or neighborhood to neighborhood throughout the city or throughout the state, they're constantly moving. So it's actionable intelligence, and it's only good for a short amount of time. So to answer your question, we confirm all of the social media posts, regardless of the platform. We utilize that as an investigative lead, and then if we can move further that, we do. And I think sometimes it helps us, but sometimes it really just excites the public, and maybe it's a good piece for you all. But I just want to close with this. I know it's going to be asked, but I'll go ahead and voice it to you all. Mr. Massey, once we finish processing him and bringing him back to the Orleans Parish Jail and doing the booking, he will be relocated to the Angola, to our state prison, and he'll be flown there sometime later this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Let's make a hole over here, please.
Thank you.
All right, just to recap, this is a New Orleans Police Department and joint press conference with a number of different law enforcement agencies talking about and giving details about the arrest of Antoine Massey. He's one of the 10 inmates who escaped from Orleans Justice Center. If you're just joining us, this happened 6 weeks ago now. 10 inmates escaped, and now Antoine Massey is back in custody. And we learned quite a few new details out of this press conference, many of those coming from both the NOPD and the Louisiana State Police, who've been integral in this investigation. But one of the things that we learned is that they do anticipate making more arrests in this situation.
Yeah,
they do anticipate more helpers getting arrested.
US Marshals made a comment, and this is a comment that we were making off camera as they were listening to this press conference. The fact that you can't remain on the run for 6 weeks without receiving any sort of assistance. And we know that there were maybe 1 or 2 people that were arrested early on in this investigation, but I believe that there may be more.
Yes.
Well, I think the total number of people arrested for helping the inmates in some form or another was 16. The state police and US Marshals hinted that there would be obviously the debriefing of Antoine Massey and possible further arrests. Now, what we almost can 100% say for certain is that he did get help. You can't stay out for 6 weeks with a $50,000 reward, very visible tattoos on your face, without someone bringing you food, moving you from location to location. We know he's been to at least a couple, right? And when the state police and US Marshals indicates that they are going to go after everybody involved, you can rest assured that's going to happen. Now, whether that leads to a name and an arrest for an accomplice, yet to be seen, but they've done it 16 times. And mind you, we've seen the bail set in those cases at $1 million and higher.
It has been high.
High bills.
We've been talking up here about this Airbnb situation because Amelia Strahan interviewed the owner of the property where Massey was taken into custody a little while ago. That owner was completely shocked that Massey was in the property. It's a duplex that's in the Hollygrove neighborhood on Stroelitz Street, but state police saying there that they're going to be looking into how Massey wound up in that Airbnb because half of that Airbnb was being rented, according to the property owner, and Antoine Massey may have been in the other side.
Yeah, they also mentioned the fact that moving him around has been happening in the city. So there may be another arrest because the initial social media post, which we would not have even known he was still in the city if he had not posted on social media claiming his innocence, claiming that he was let out of jail versus escaping from jail and trying to proclaim that he had his charges pending up against him. But if in that video you saw that there was a different residence, he was inside, and he gave clear details of the kitchen, which someone obviously could see, and they could immediately recognize. When police arrived there, they found his clothing. So he has someone that is taxiing him from place to place and giving him a place to stay. But I wonder how they get, after they do the debrief with him, I wonder how much of that information they're going to get.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. If I own that Airbnb and I have a kitchen decoration decor above the
Right.
sink that says kitchen in it that looks like that, and I see this video, I'm going to say, wait a second, that's my Airbnb.
Right.
You know, that's my property where this man is. So I assume that people have been piecing those things together as this investigation has unfolded.
Well, he left a lot of breadcrumbs, honestly.
Yeah.
We talked about the charges a little bit earlier. He's not facing any of the more, I guess, the manslaughter charges, the murder charges, the same charges that Derrick Groves is facing, but he is charged with sexual assault and with domestic violence. So now that he's being taken in and he'll be taken to Angola, where does he stand now? What
Well,
does he look
obviously, those charges never went away. He still has to face them. When he posted that social media video, he proclaimed his innocence to those previous charges. And, interestingly, he seemed to want the opportunity to defend himself, which is hard to do when you're on the run, a wanted fugitive. So those will be continuing. Some of those charges were in St. Tammany Parish.
So, when he was on the run, he showed us paperwork that those charges was being dropped. He showed us paperwork that the female in that case says she lied. He showed us in that post that he was still dealing with the female. She was coming to the jail. She was calling him. She was visiting him. So those charges are out the fucking window. I hate when you white people don't tell 100% of the motherfucking truth. Just speak the fucking truth, bro. It doesn't make you less of a man because you speaking the truth. What makes you a clown is that you're sitting here leaving out information and not giving us the real information. Get the fuck out of here.
The interesting twist was that one of the people arrested for helping, one of the 16 arrested for helping the inmates, but one arrested for helping Antoine Massey was the former girlfriend of Antoine Massey, as described in court documents, who is also the victim in the alleged sexual assault.
Right. So he's with the victim. The victim helped him out. Those charges should have been dismissed. He told y'all that when he put up the shit. So that man had to escape from prison because it's a fucked up justice system in Louisiana that all you white motherfuckers refuse to talk about. And we got this fat black bitch who's sitting there who won't even defend the nigga. You won't even defend your black people for what? A news job? A news job, bitch? You ain't making no money. You ain't getting millions of dollars. You ain't famous. Don't mistake because you on TV doing news to mean you're a celebrity. You just a fat bitch on the news.
The charges that he was facing and why he was locked up in the first place.
As we know, those cases are very difficult.
Yes.
Domestic battery situations and domestic assault is, an extremely difficult situation for everyone involved. So,
and particularly when you now
talk about how she was visiting him. Talk about how he was calling her from the jail. Talk about how he had an affidavit of her saying she lied. He was cheating, so she lied. Y'all not talking about the real facts. Y'all talking about the bullshit. And you notice how the white people are sitting together because they think alike. They don't want nothing to do with this nigga girl. She should be in the middle. Come on, man. You gotta see shit for yourself. They don't like black folks. You see, they far from her. It should be equal. They should be spread around the table equally. Come on, man.
Now have authorities making the allegation and arresting the ex-girlfriend and alleged victim.
Yes.
And she's, I believe, held on one of those high $1 million plus bails. So she continues to be locked up. So there are a lot of, twists and turns to Antoine Massey's case in particular. However, certainly not to make light of the gravity of those domestic violence charges against him, up to and including rape in St. Tammany.
Yes.
That's a domestic violence partner rape. Nevertheless, those carry steep penalties upon conviction. And so he's, facing serious consequences. It will now be interesting. He was clearly...
Honestly, white man, how can you say he's facing serious consequences when the bitch that accused him of all those charges is locked up for helping him? At some point, don't you get it? White people can't be this fucking dumb. Bro, the bitch lied. She gave an affidavit and said the nigga cheated, and she lied. So he shouldn't even have been in jail to escape. But the system is so fucked up and corrupt toward niggas that even though the bitch says she lied, he was still in jail. The nigga should have never been in jail. Won't you white folks talk about that part, please? I beg y'all.
Somewhat talkative, boy, posting on social media. Seemed to have a story to tell.
Yes.
Claiming his innocence, claiming he was let out, it wasn't an escape. Will he be that talkative now that he's being debriefed by law enforcement?
Well, I know right now the law enforcement is probably going to debrief him, and they just mentioned that they're going to do same process and put them in the helicopter, fly him over to Angola so that he has no chance of escape again. But I am curious to see how these cases play out moving forward for each of them, because some of them face more severe, well, all of them face severe charges, but some of them obviously more deadly than others. So Antoine Massey, he's now there, but Derrick Groves, that's the big question on where he is. And some people have turned in tips. We heard from Darlene Costanza, who says that there were a number of tips, 1,500 tips that had come in. And I was a little confused about this, and I hope that we can get some clarity. We had Sheriff Susan Hudson say that the tip came directly to her. And then there was Darlene Costanza, who says that the tip came to Crimestoppers. So now the question was over the $50,000. I think that's where the confusion was at the end of the press conference, where people said, well, if that's the case, then where does this money go? Does this anonymous tipper get this money, or did it directly get a call?
So now they trying to fuck the anonymous tipper out to $50,000 because all days, it was an anonymous tip from the tip line. Now it came directly to the sheriff. Now you see why that $50,000 wasn't worth shit? They tricked you. You done sold this man out for $50,000, and now they talking about not giving you the $50,000. You was a rat for free, stupid.
Susan Hudson get a call.
I mean, it also makes you wonder if Susan Hudson sent the tip to Crimestoppers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know what I mean? So Susan...
You see how and the black girl going right along with it. That's why she ugly. That's why she got short hair. That's why she got them ugly ass goddamn earrings and that ugly ass outfit on, because she full of shit. You trying to help fuck them people out of their 50 G's. They gave the tip, ratted this man out, and now they talking about, the tip came through the sheriff's office and da 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 da. You see what I tell y'all, folks? Leave people be. I don't give a fuck if the most wanted man in America live next door to me. That's his motherfucking business. Long as he don't cross that property line and come over here fucking with me, he gonna be all right. But if he come over here fucking with me, he not gonna make it back to prison. Him gonna get dead. I ain't gonna have to worry about looking for him no more. But as long as he stay over there, he's fine with me. I don't give a fuck about no fucking criminals. Mind their business, and I won't tell. I don't give a fuck how much reward you is and how broke I am, because this is what happens. They fucking these people out their reward.
Got the tip, sends the tip to Crimestoppers and connects the dots. Maybe that's what happened. Or did it come directly to Crimestoppers? Or did it come directly to Susan? I don't know.
It was indicated to me earlier that whoever made the call was eligible for the reward that was from the US Marshals Service. We don't know the sequence, and maybe the caller was very determined that this get to law enforcement called.
And now they trying to take the reward away. You fucking rat. You was a rat bastard, and now they trying not to give you 50 G's. I hope you don't fucking get it.
Crimestoppers as well as the sheriff. We don't know. That didn't get fully explained, but hopefully we can get the further details on that.
Around 3:30 this afternoon is when all of this went down. It seems as though law enforcement was in and they were out. And Amelia Strahan is over at that location where Antoine Massey was taken back into custody this afternoon. She's joining us live now with a quick update on what the scene is like there. Amelia?
Yeah, Katie, so we've actually been spending probably the last half hour talking to neighbors, and we just spoke to the next door neighbor, and he said that whenever the cars pulled up, they were unmarked. They looked like normal vehicles. So that may be part of why the scene looked a little, we said it looked dead whenever we got here. There weren't the cop cars, but what we're hearing from multiple neighbors is that is just kind of how the street looked when they got here as well. So it doesn't sound like it was a lot of activity. Now, something new that we've learned from speaking with the people on this street, again, we've mentioned it looks like a pretty quiet street. A lot of people that we've talked to have lived here for a while. They did say that at this property, they have seen cars coming early in the morning, say 2, 3 a.m. for the past few weeks. Now, we heard that from multiple neighbors. Of course, we don't know any details there. We heard from Ann Kirkpatrick. We know that the superintendent, Ann Kirkpatrick, that Antoine Massey did have help. To what extent, we don't know that yet, but they did say that there has been some kind of suspicious activity around this area for the past few weeks. Now, we spoke to the woman who owns this property. Now, she says this is an Airbnb. She says it is a 2-unit Airbnb. One of them was occupied at the time, and she said that she was shocked to find out that this happened at her property. She said that she had no idea. She was completely caught off guard, and she was actually not even home when the arrest was made. The police, she says, did not call her or notify her. She actually got the news from her next door neighbor, and whenever she got back, she said it was pretty quiet. So we're still learning more exactly about what happened with this arrest today. We're learning more from neighbors as we walk up and down the block, but it definitely appears to be a quiet street. Again, we're on the 9400 block of Stroelitz Street here in Hollygrove, and we will keep you updated with any more updates that we get from police or from neighbors. But again, this is 6 weeks on the run, and Antoine Massey was captured about 1.5 miles away from Orleans Justice Center. So he did not get far, or he at least did not stay far away. So who helped, what kind of help he got, we've confirmed that he did receive some kind of assistance, and of course we'll look forward to learning more from police about what that looks like. That leaves just Derrick Groves left on the run, the final of the 10 inmates who escaped Orleans Justice Center last month. So we will let you know as we hear more from law enforcement here on the scene.
All right, Amelia, thank you so much for that update for us, and lots of questions still unanswered. I think police and law enforcement officers still have a lot of unanswered questions as well that they want to get to the bottom of as they start to question Antoine Massey.
Yeah, as they do that debrief. I know that right now some of the court cases for people who were arrested for assisting some of these escapees have begun. Where do they stand right now?
Well, we have them at various parish lockups, including Plaquemines Parish and St. Tammany. They will.
My name is Scott Payne. I served in the FBI for 23 years as an undercover.
My fault, y'all. That was the end of that. It cut off. That was the end of the news report. And as you can see, somebody gave that man, gave information up on that man.
Citizen. And that alone speaks volumes to her.
Someone they ratted on them for $50,000, and now they're trying not to give them their $50,000. They're trying to say, oh, well, the tip came straight to the head sheriff.
Legitimacy of relationships that matter. So when the community.
And all those things, but it is what it is. Like I always say here, I present you with the facts. I give you my opinion on those facts. And if you like how I do that, click that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, click all so you can get notifications every time I drop one of these videos. And if you support on this type of behavior, cut the shit. That part.